right, saying we live now.
All right.
Let's see. I'm gonna check right quick. This is, make
Yeah, we
sure.
we good.
Yeah, make sure we live and we're gonna get to it. Let's reason. Go. Fine.
Make sure
Yeah, we
we
on, baby.
we gonna get to it. All right.
Turn that down. All right, brothers. Hey, uh, first off, we want to give all praises to Yahweh
Our,
by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Mukakwadash. The double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well, and peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity and truth, man. You know, as we're coming to the latter days, we know there's going to be a third woe, which we know to be World War III. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest reason why that these wars are happening is because it's for profit for the elite, man. And the so-called white man, you Edomites, they're going to use propaganda in order to convince everybody that war is necessary, man. And in the same way that he used propaganda, what I'm saying, and you know, uh, in the past, he's going to use that in a few, now, in which we see that going on. So we wanted to support out how, what I'm saying, war is really a racket, and also, what I'm saying, the propaganda that the so-called white man is using is nothing new. He used the same propaganda, what I'm saying, during the time of the Vietnamese War. So we're going to explore briefly the Vietnamese War, the beginning of it, why it started. What I'm saying. Also, we're going to point out the fact that a war is all about gain. It's all about what I'm saying, money. It's all about making the elite more rich. What I'm saying, and putting the people in a subjection. It isn't about freedom and all these lies and BS that the so-called white man likes to tell the people, man. Did you have something to say, bro?
no, bro.
All right, so shoot, let's get up into it, man. Uh, Share the screen first, of course. See, allow me to. And Salak, if my computer's running a bit slow, you know how it is. All right,
Be patient, Jake.
yeah, patient, my brother. All right, so here we go. Let's grab that. Let's grab your article first. Is there anything in particular that you want me to read first, bro?
Well, you
Like,
know what? I tell you what. I'll read it first, bro.
okay. I
Okay.
mean, because it's
All
just
right.
your article, bro. I can read it, you know what I'm saying, and have you break it down
No, we good. We good, bro. I got it.
already.
All right. We're gonna start at, of course, war is a racket. All right, and then our source is radical.org, and this article actually came from a general by Major General Smedley Butler, okay? And he composed this article or this book, War is a Racket. So we're in the spirit, we're going to get some excerpts from chapter one. All right, states, War is a Racket. Did it come up?
God, I got it pulled
Okay.
up on the screen.
All right, bro. All right, let me start over. War is a racket.
Mhm.
It always has been. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to the majority of the people. Only a small inside group knows what it is about, hence the elite. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the very many. Out of war, a few people make huge fortunes. In the world war, a mere handful garner the profits of the conflict. At least 21,000 new millionaires and billionaires were made in the United States during the World War. That many admitted their huge blood gains in their income tax returns. How many other war millionaires falsified their tax returns? No one knows. How many of these war millionaires shouldered a rifle? How many of them dug a trench? How many of them knew what it meant to go hungry in a rat infested dugout? How many of them spent sleepless, frightened nights ducking shells and shrapnel and machine gun bullets? How many of them parried a bayonet thrust of an enemy? How many of them were wounded or killed in a battle?
That's right.
Out of you want to add something, Elder?
Well, I had just Googled how many people died in World War One,
Mm-hmm.
and according to Google, they said like around 37 million people died, man. You
God.
know, and what out of out of that, all that turmoil, 21 thousand people became millionaires and billionaires, man.
That's
You
right.
know, that's a lot of people who have died. So that goes into perfectly what the dude had brought out. The general brought
Mm-hmm.
out, man, saying that there's just profits for only a small group of people, and you know what I'm saying, and you know you pay and people pay with the losses of lives, man.
That's
And,
right.
millions of people were killed, out of propaganda. You know what I'm saying? False pretense. Go ahead, bro.
That's right, bro. That's right. Out of war, nations acquire additional territory if they are victorious. They just take it. This is newly acquired territory promptly is exploited by the few, the self same few who wrung dollars out of blood in the war. The general public shoulders the bill. And what is the bill? This bill renders a horrible accounting, newly placed gravestones, mangled bodies, shattered minds, broken hearts and homes, economic instability, depression, and all its attendant miseries, back-breaking taxation for generations and generations. All right.
You
Now,
see that with the war now.
that's
You
right.
see that the war, the all these wars, you know what I'm saying, that's going on in the Middle East, the war on terror or terrorism, which started in 2001. And so the U.S. has been campaigning over there for almost 20 years now, man. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
That's right. That's
And what's
right.
been going on with the soldiers, man? They come back home with all types of mental disorders. Was it PTSD?
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Women soldiers over there getting ravaged. You know what I'm saying?
that's right. That's right. Say, bro, jump down to chapter 2.
Okay. And then that fourth verse, I mean fourth paragraph.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah, we can just go to that.
Okay.
All right. This is now who makes the profits? You know what, Elder? I'm gonna start at the first paragraph and then I'm gonna jump to the fourth paragraph.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, this is chapter 2, who makes the profits? The World War, rather, our brief participation in it has cost the United States some 52 bill Slovakia, yeah, 52 billion. Figure it out. That means $400 to every American man, woman, and child, and we haven't paid the debt yet. Now, this is during this time frame.
Mm-hmm.
We are we are paying it. Our children will pay it, and our children's children probably still would be paying the cost of their war. Okay. Now, if we jump to the fourth paragraph, it states, "Take our friends, the DuPonts, the powder people. Didn't one of them testify before a Senate committee recently that their powder won the war, or saved the world for democracy, or something? How did they do in the war? They were a patriotic corporation. Well, the average earnings of the DuPonts for the period 1910 to 1914 were 6 million a year. It wasn't much, but the DuPonts managed to get along on it. Now let's look at the average yearly profit during the war years, 1914 to 1918. $58 million a year profit we find. So they went from making $6 million a year, and due
Mm-hmm.
to the being creating this war, because they was a part of it, they are one of the elite families. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they jumped up from $6 million to $58 million a year,
58 million.
nearly come 58 million. And like you said, Elder, prior to us going live, and this was back then. This is around like 1914, the early 1900s, man.
Mm-hmm. Winning.
58 million $58 million a year profit we find, nearly 10 times that of normal times. And the profits of normal times were pretty good because they was already making $6 million. An increase in profits of more than 950%.
It's
God
incredible,
damn.
man. That's incredible,
Yep.
man. You know, and they did that off the backs of the people.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and majority of those people now that are in the army are the Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You
That's right.
represent the front line. You
Yeah.
see, and instead of them paying you, you know what I'm saying, like they're supposed to, they're giving you medals. The brother had brought that out before we started. You know, they
That's
giving these
right.
people medals and things of that nature, man. You know what I'm saying, as compensation for them going over there and risking their lives for this country, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to add too that was all based on a lie.
All a lie. All a fucking lie, bro. Just
You know what I'm
for
saying?
the elite gain, man.
You know. So I wanted to did you ask more to that, bro?
Yeah, just
No,
two
go
more
ahead.
points.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right, just gonna give one more example. It states, take one of our little steel companies that patriotically shunted aside the making of rails and girders and bridges to manufacture war materials. Well, their 1910, 1914 yearly earnings averaged $6 million. Then came the war, and like loyal citizens, Bethlehem Steel promptly turned to munitions making. Did their profits jump, or did they let Uncle Sam in for a bargain? Well, their 1914, 1918 average was $49 million a year.
Mm.
So, and then it states that this was a Bethlehem Steel, so more than likely these were these fake ass Jewish motherfuckers.
All right.
All right, Elder, and I'm just gonna bring that point out too, and this is the last point from this
Mm-hmm.
article about Napoleon.
Right. Which
And
chapter is that?
come down, Elder, to chapter 3, and it's who pays the bills.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, three, four, five, six. All right, keep going down, Elder. You're gonna see where it states up to and including the Spanish-American War. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right there.
I'm gonna read that part. All right,
Mm-hmm.
up to and including the Spanish American War, we had a prize system, and soldiers and sellers fought for money. During the
Mm-hmm.
Civil War, they were paid bonuses in many instances before they went into service. The government or states paid as high as 1,200 for an enlistment. In the Spanish American War, they gave prize money. When you capture any vessels, the soldiers all got their share. At least they were supposed to. And okay, and this is documented also in our culture in the book of Numbers, because when our soldiers went to war, they got the spoils, man. They got a percentage of the spoils. All right. But back into the article. Then it was found that we could reduce the cost of wars by taking all the prize money and keeping it, but conscripting, meaning drafting the soldier anyway, then soldiers couldn't bargain for their labor. Everyone else could bargain, but the soldier couldn't. Napoleon once said, all men are enamored of decorations. They positively hunger for them. hence the term the Purple Heart. So, by developing the Napoleonic system, the metal business, the government learned it could get soldiers for less money because the boys like to be decorated. Until the Civil War, there were no medals. Then the Congressional Medal of Honor was handed out. It made enlistments easier. After the Civil War, no new medals were issued until the Spanish American War. In the World War, we used propaganda to make the boys accept conscription, meaning draft. They were made to feel ashamed if they didn't join the army. So vicious was this propaganda that even God was brought into it.
Mm. And there you go. And there you go. It shows you how, you know what I'm saying, the so-called white man used lies, man, in order to perpetuate his hidden agenda, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and he has man, he's done it so well throughout the years that he doesn't have to even pay people to go to war. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
He
That's right.
uses that propaganda in order to ignite emotions, man, out of these people. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, the whole deal with war with the incident in 2001, man, with the towers being hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They use that as false flags, that false flag as a means to, you know what I'm saying, make people enlist, man. Start that war over there in in the Middle East and Afghanistan, man. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? Because everybody was ready to, you know, fight the terrorists. You see what I'm saying? So everybody thought that it was going, people, you know, were going to be hitting, uh, you know, where they were from. The the the
Right.
the uh the the terrorists that carried out uh the hit supposedly, they were all from Saudi Arabia, man. So how did we end up? So how did America end up in Iraq and then Afghanistan? That doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
any sense, man. But see, they use that propaganda, you know what I'm saying, as a means to lie to the people, man. You know. Let me get this in Psalms. Now this is Psalms 59 and 2. Deliver me from the worker of iniquity and save me from bloody men.
That's right.
For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Yahweh. They run and prepare themselves without my faults. Awake to help me, and behold, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for to be helped by Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shah, man. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because we know, that the world is coming up against us, man. And you had this report, uh, was it the SPLC that stated that we are black nationalists, and they're gearing up that propaganda against us, man. You know what I'm saying? That tongue that's sharpened as a sword, man, is
That's right.
being wet for us, man. You know, verse 5. Thou therefore, O Yahweh, power of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor shall. They return at evening. They make a noise like a dog, and go around about the city. Behold, they belch out with their mouth. Sores are in their lips. For who say they doth hear? That's right. So
Right.
their mouth is likened unto a sword, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they use that propaganda to cut down people, man. You know what I'm saying? Look what they did in the Middle East, in the Middle East, man. You know what I'm saying? Really, also in North Africa, man. Case in point, Libya. Everybody want to praise, Barack Obama, but he used the same lies, or he perpetuated the same lies as other presidents, man. He lied and said that Gaddafi was oppressing his people and killing his people, man. You know what I'm saying? So he and set up a coup. You know what I'm saying? And overtook that country, man. Why is that? Because it was all about it's all about money, it's all about gain. You know, Gaddafi, what he was trying to do is he was trying to back out of the American dollar and use make a own currency that was backed by gold.
Yeah, the dinar.
I forget the name for it. That could possibly be it. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
think it was. Yeah, it was the
The
dinar.
dinar. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And so they used that that deceitful tongue. You know what I'm saying? That tongue that's likened unto a sword. You know what I'm saying? To chop down Gaddafi, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's been using the same propaganda, the same line words for years, man.
That's
You
right.
see, verse 8. But
Hey,
thou,
Elder.
go ahead.
And 6 it states they return at evening. They make a noise like a dog and go around about the city. And let's talk
Con,
about those military formations, man. Because ultimately they're there. What they're trying to do, they're trying to eradicate that potential demographic, man, for its resources, man. And that's why war is nothing but a racket because the elite and their lesser elite homeboys or friends or cohorts, however you want to declare them, they actually make money off these wars, man, at the expense of the people being sacrificed, man.
beautiful, beautiful point. I'm gonna finish this in verse 59. I mean, further, verse 8, and then we jump to the article that I have.
Kind.
Verse 8. But thou, Yahweh, shall laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision.
That's right.
That's right, man. So, hey, the Most High is gonna make their tongues fall upon themselves, alluding to Psalms the 64th chapter, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Most High is gonna allow each so-called white man ways to swallow him up, alluding to Proverbs 5:23. Let me grab that right quick just to prove it.
Kind.
I'm saying 5:23. You know, because that's what we seeing, man. Hey, this third world war, man, you're gonna see a lot of death. You know what I'm saying? And the so-called white man, Edomites, chiefly, you know what I'm saying, Babylon, you're not gonna come up on, you're not gonna be on top this go around, man. It ain't gonna go how you think it's gonna go. You know, this is
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 5:22. His own iniquity shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction in the greatness of his folly. He shall and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. That's right, man. So, what does that link up with? Well, that link up with Job when it says that when he's to fill his belly, you know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
right.
when Lucifer, that's when the Most High is gonna cast him down, man. You see what I'm saying? The Most High is gonna allow the so-called white man, which are Edomites, to destroy themselves, man. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go
Hey, Elder, it
to
states in verse 22, his own iniquities shall take the wicked himself. And you just
sorry.
went away from it. But it was talking about like those.
Hold on, bro.
Okay.
Shit. Uh, man, so like it, bro. That's
You good. You
Satan.
good. You good, bro.
I don't
Hey,
know
but I
if
can
you can
bring out a
hear it.
precept, bro. Hey, this is Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, and what were you saying in about Proverbs the
Yeah, yeah,
26th
yeah.
chapter? Like,
Proverbs, yeah, no problem. Proverbs 5 and 22. His own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sin. And you know anything about a cord? What does a cord do? It just continues to wrap around, wrap around. So the Most High is letting saying letting us know like through the Spirit that basically, hey, Esau is gonna be judged, man. Although basically he hasn't been judged at this time frame. Why? Because he's still in his rulership, man. But as you can see, based on the signs through prophecy of Matthew the 24th chapter, man, Esau's world, which is going into his rulership, is coming to an end, man.
Right. Right. Now this is going over the battle of talking. You know what I'm saying? That this is the reason why I'm bringing this out is this is an example of the lies of the so-called white man and how he uses, you know what I'm saying, that tongue, you know what I'm saying, to really, you know, perpetuate his hidden agenda, bro. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? The same way he lied to get into the Middle East, you know what I'm saying, and also eventually Syria is the same lies that he's been telling, man. You know. Now this is the Gulf of talking incident 50 years ago, and this is according to the historychannel.com or history.com. It says on August the 2nd, 1964, the U.S. destroyer Mattis exchanged shots with North Vietnamese torpedo boats in the Gulf of Tonkin. 2 days later, the Mattis and other destroyers reported once again coming under fire. After more historians, including them employed by the U.S. military, have since concluded that the second of those attacks never actually occurred. It served as the pretext for an immediate ramp up of the Vietnam War. By the end of the day, President Lyndon B. Johnson had ordered retaliatory airstrikes, and by late 1965, some 180,000 American troops were on the ground, with more on the way. After World War II, French reoccupied its former colonies in Southeast Asia, only to be kicked out again by the forces of communist leader Ho Chi Minh in 1954. As the conflict wound down, the world's power reached an agreement to temporarily divide Vietnam into which all Ho supporters going north and all French supporters going south. Elections were supposed to reunite the country within a couple of years, but the United States opposed them over concerns that Ho would win the presidency. Instead, it propped up the corrupt and authoritarian government of Ngo Dinh. South of Vietnam was essentially the creation of the United States, and there you go. So there you go, right there. There you go. You know what I'm saying? He can't. He's a proud man. Neither that he can't keep at home, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me grab that right quick, bro.
God.
This happened two. And I started at 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what you see. This is an example here, man. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. The so-called white man is trying to control Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? And and dictate who's running that nation. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. And that's why the
Who
scripture states he keep it not at home, man.
That's right.
Because he has no business, you know what I'm saying, in those countries, man, pushing his propaganda, man. And that's how we know spiritually, man, that Esau is Satan, man. He's
That's right.
Satan's counterpart on earth, man. And his tongue walks to and fro throughout all the earth, man. Meaning his philosophies, man.
That's right. He's the son. He's the son of perdition.
Uh,
That's spoken of in the scriptures, man. You see what I'm saying? You know, he believes that the so-called white man believes that he's God. And how do we know that by his actions, man?
mm-hmm.
He dictates what's right and what's wrong on the earth, man. You see what I'm saying? He dictates what nation is deemed as righteous and what and what it, and he dictates what nation is a villain is seen as a villain. You see, this is the so-called white man. You know, let's get back to the scriptures. I mean, it's like this the article. Um, let's see here. We finished that. Back into what that first paragraph. The Defense Department would later, let's instead it prompt up the corrupt and authoritarian government of Nego Diem Diem. Uh, South Vietnam was essentially the creation of the United States. The Defense Department would later admit in the Pentagon Papers. Within a few years, a rebellion had sprung up against them, uh, aided by Ho's forces in the north, who oversaw a string of assassinations against non-communist village leaders under President Harry Truman, the Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, and uh, Lyndon B. Johnson. The United States gave French and then South of Vietnam economic aid and weapons with which to fight the communist rebels, which is a proxy war, man. You had the United States funding a proxy war, really a coup, if you want to get technical, you know what I'm saying, to back against, you know what I'm saying, the north of Vietnam, you know what I'm saying, country, if you will.
That's right.
It also sent over more and more military advisors, some of whom participated in raids despite ostensibly uh, being there only for self-defense. You see, so they were actually going over there and raiding, you know what I'm saying, and doing raids and things of that nature, man. Even though they're saying that they were lying and saying that they were over there for self-defense, man.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that they said, you know what I'm saying, numerous times when dealing with these different Middle Eastern countries, man. You see, as part of one such covert operation, the United States trained and directed South Vietnamese sailors to bombard radar stations, bridges, and other targets along the North Vietnamese coast. Meanwhile, U.S. warships such as the Maddox conducted electronic, what's the espionage?
No,
Espionage, the water espionage missions in order to relay intelligence to South Vietnam. The rebels continued gaining ground, however, both before and after U.S. officials sanctioned a coup in which Dean was murdered. At this point, U.S. involvement in Vietnam remained largely in the background, but in the pre-dawn hours of July 31st, 1964, U.S.-backed patrol boats shelled two North Vietnamese islands in the Gulf of Tonkin, after which the Maddox headed to the area. As it cruised along on April the 2nd, it found itself facing down three Soviet-built North Vietnamese torpedo boats that had came out to chase it away.
Right, Elder. That was August the 2nd.
It's like August the 2nd. As it yeah, August the 2nd. Slacky. The Maddox fired first, issuing what the U.S. authorities describe as warning shots. So supposedly, the Maddox has fired two warning shots. You know what I'm saying? And somebody, you know, in the Gulf of Tonkin, not even their own territory. You know what I'm saying? At two torpedo boats. Undeterred, the three boats continue approaching and open up with machine guns and torpedo fire of their own. With the help of F-8 cruiser jets dispatched from a nearby aircraft carrier, the medics barely damaged at least one of the North Vietnamese boats, while emerging completely unscathed, except for a single bullet that lodged in its super structure. The following day, the U.S. destroyer turned joy. Ah, we had jumped on me. Salagi jumped on me. Dang on. Day, the U.S. Destroyer Turner Joy was sent in to reinforce the medics, and the U.S.-backed raids took place against two additional North Vietnamese defense positions. Then on August 4th, the medics in Joy reported that they had been ambushed with enemy boats firing 22 torpedoes at them. In response, President Johnson ordered airstrikes against North Vietnamese boat bases in an oil storage depot. Aggression by terror against the peaceful villagers of South Vietnam has now been joined by open aggression on the high seas against the United States of America. He said that evening in a televised address. He also requested a congressional resolution known as the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which on April the 7th passed anonymously in the House and will, with what you say?
It passed unanimously.
No, it's ununanimously.
Oh, slacky. I see the eye.
It's okay. We all make mistakes, brother. In the House, and with only two dissenting votes in the Senate, essentially giving him the power to wage war in Southeast Asia as he saw fit. You see that? And we have to remember too that this was all based on a lie.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? All this stuff that we're reading about, all this was based on a lie, man.
Right, because they set up, they propped up South Vietnam. They put in them, and then what they do, they sanction a coup on them, and then just to further the war, man.
Mm-hmm. It says throughout. Now we're gonna get to nitty gritty. Throughout this hectic few days, the Johnson administration asserted that the destroyer had been on routine patrol in international waters. In actuality, however, the destroyers were on an espionage uh,
Espionage.
mission in waters claimed by North Vietnam. The Johnson administration also described the two attacks as unprovoked, never disclosed the covert U.S.-backed raids taking place. Another problem, the second attack almost certainly never occurred. So it was just a lie. They lied about being attacked, man. You see, in order to get in, to pass these resolutions, the Gulf talking resolutions, to give them access or get permission to go into the South area, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
Hey,
see?
stay out of, and if I can add, and in the elite, they use the same formula, man, the same blueprint, and this is what you're saying now
Exactly.
in Syria. They're saying that Syria's
Exactly.
president is using chemical warfare. However, Russia, along with Iran, representatives are going back to the UN, telling them there is no signs or indications of chemical warfare being utilized on those people out there, man. It's the same
Yep.
shit. It's the same movie, but they just place in different characters, bro. And now we're looking
Different
at
players.
Syria.
Beautiful. See? You see, that's you know what I'm saying. That you get it, bro. That's right. You know what I'm saying. The Johnson administration also described the two attacks as unprovoked. It never disclosed the covert U.S.-backed raids taking place. So America was going over there, like we said, and committing raid. What is a raid? That's a good question. So we can better describe what a raid is. You know what I'm saying? Because the U.S. was going over there and basically taking people's stuff, man. You know. See, we pull this up. There we go. A raid, a sudden attack on an enemy by troops, aircrafts, or an armed force in warfare. You know what I'm saying? Conduct a raid on an assault. So the U.S. was going over there, and they were committing attacks and things of that nature, man. On the North Vietnamese, man. You know what I mean? Right. And then when the Vietnamese retaliated, which they really didn't even retaliate, they're the ones they're the one who shot warning shots. What did the U.S. do? Took that used that as a means to go and basically wage war on those people, man.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. They provoke them to do it so they can have a reason for raiding on them, man.
Yep. This man's off the chain, bro.
That's right.
Another problem. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a quick precept.
What you got?
Hey, this is Job 13:4. You want me to just read it?
Go ahead, bro.
Job 13:4.
Yeah.
And this is gonna tie in beautifully with the with our lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Job 13.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, this is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. And you can't believe anything Esau says regarding anything, like history, and we proved through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah 2 articles of how they use tactics and propaganda to spawn war. And a physician's supposed to have value, right? You're supposed to get healings out of physicians, but because of Esau is so wicked, he has no value, man.
Beautiful. Yep, he has none whatsoever. I'm up here because the point was made, and then we can get these presets, man. You know what I'm saying? Another problem: the second attack almost certainly never occurred. Instead, it's believed that the crew members of the Maddox mistook their own sonorous pings off the rudders for North Vietnamese torpedoes. In the confusion, the Maddox nearly even fired at the turn of joy. Yet, when U.S. intelligence officials presented the evidence to policymakers, they deliberately omitted almost all the relevant communicators interceptors, according to the National Security Agency documented declassified in 2005. The overwhelming body of reports, if used, would have told the story that no attack had happened. An NSA historian wrote. So a conscious effort ensured to demonstrate that an attack occurred. The Navy likewise says it is now clear that North Vietnamese naval forces did not attack the Maddox and turn of joy that night. So it was a big lie, and millions of people died over a lie. You know, ultimately, but for the game, for an economic gain, going into what the brother had brought up, man. You know, but you know what though, the Most High has seen the lies that the so-called white man has perpetuated, man. And what is he going to do, man? He's going to cast them down, man. you know, and he gonna use these other nations to do so, because the other nations are fed up too. Going back to Habakkuk 2:5. Yet also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Right.
Shall
And
not
that's
all
what you
these?
said, Elder. That
Mhm.
point you brought out when you stated that, hey, the elite have all this money, but at the same time frame, they're not satisfied.
Gone.
And through their philosophies, through their wine, they promote death and more death and pain and agony because ultimately they're trying or attempting to crown their success, which is going into the NWO.
Mm. Yeah. Hey, the brother GMS Desiring Truth, he said this, it is just like the ship Liberty to start World War II or get America involved in World War II. You know what I'm saying? So the brother brought out another example, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey man, this dude is off the chain, man. You know what I'm saying? He's been using lies for a long time to push his hidden agenda, man. You know,
That's
but the
right.
Most High, you know what I'm saying, you know, is going to judge soon, man. And we're seeing that the judgment that's about to be issued out very soon, man, according to prophecy. Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and say, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That's right. The so-called white man, hey man, um, you know, he you know, has acquired everybody's land and natural resources, man. He has embassies in all these different nations, you see,
Mm-hmm.
and these nations are seeing this and they're fed up, man. Hey, that's where you have the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America, and other countries, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming together for economic agreements. You have the Chinese making their own reserve currency, which is the petro yuan, backed by gold, man. You see China and Russia buying gold. You see, you have these developing countries like India buying gold in the private sector because everybody's getting tired of that thick clay that the white man has used, chiefly America has used in order to rule this world. Man. You see, that thick clay, if you look it up, you know what I'm saying, it goes into debt, man.
God.
You see, so the other nations, man, have drunken this wine, and the other nations are mad, bro. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? That's right. Hey, these nations, America's gonna be treasure to these other nations, man. You got something to say, my brother? Abaya?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Right, so you got something to say, bro?
No, bro, beautifully said, bro. I'm just listening.
Kind. Uh, verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, or the remnant of the people shall spoil thee,
That's right.
because of man's blood and for the violence of the land and of the city and of all that dwell therein. So these other nations, man, you know what I'm saying, has been spoiled by America, you know what I'm saying, and by, you know what I'm saying, chief Edomites. He went to every single person's different nations' lands and explored the indigenous people, man. You know what I'm saying, by colonization and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying, placing people into servitude, man. And the other nations know that, and they haven't forgot it. You know what I'm saying? And the other nations are gonna rise up, and they're gonna destroy you, man. You know. Verse 9: woe to him that coveteth and evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, and that he and that he may be delivered from the power of evil. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And that's the so-called white man. Hey, these elites are living deliciously, man.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But they can't be satisfied, bro.
That's right. Hey, Elder,
You know?
you at some point in
What's up with
Habakkuk
it?
2 and I want to say it's 2 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about Habakkuk 2 and 8. I'm gonna get to the latter. It states, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Now I got a precept to link up
Okay.
Revelation 6 and 4, and it states, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Mm. And who is that horse, man?
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? What is that? What is that alluding to? That's alluding to you Edomites.
That's right. That's right.
You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? You given the power to take peace from the earth, man, with a great sword, man.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
and what is
That's right.
Esau's blessing? The sword, you
That's
know,
right. That's right. Hey,
that physical sword,
Revelations.
and also the. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, no, go ahead. Keep going, Elder.
Yeah, that physical sword, and also that the tongue is likened unto a sword, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's
You
right.
know,
Revelation 6 and 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
mm, that's right. That's him. Hey, bro, go to
That's right.
Revelations 14 and 8, Baba Kishah.
All right. Revelation 14 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's prompting now. All right.
No,
I'm
no
about to,
worries.
let me scroll down to it. All right. Revelation 14 and 8. And there fought and there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
That's right. All the other nations have drunken the America's wine, and the other nations are mad.
Yeah,
The other nations are upset, man. You see?
that's right. That's right. And it can only allude to America because look at these other nations, these heathen nations, man. They wear suits. You know, in certain Arabian countries, they have female driving vehicles now. You know, they're promoting women, the women agenda, so on and so forth, man. That's
Hmm.
part of that wine that these nations have drank because what they do is they leave their culture and then they sleep with America, meaning basically they take on America's culture, man. And that's why America is called the Great Whore, man.
That's right. And anybody who doesn't, you know what I'm saying, drink that wine, they're ostracized. Case in point, the president of Kenya, man. You know, he was
Kind.
recently on CNN, and you know, you had the woman interviewing him, and she was like, you know, you don't agree with homosexuality. He's like, look, my people don't agree with it, therefore I don't agree with it. You know, I'm for my people and what they believe in. She's like, you're gonna get yourself in a lot of trouble. You know, but I thought it was all about freedom. I thought it was
Right.
all about, you know what I'm saying, love and things of that nature. But was a motherfucker comes and doesn't believe in what you believe in, then he's, you know, all types of things, a bigot, a racist, a this and that, man. Why is that? Because, you know, America pushes their philosophy, its philosophy on these other nations, man.
That's right.
You know, you get this last one in Jeremiah 51 and 7. You know what I'm saying?
Kind.
Matter of fact, I got it right here, bro. I could, you know, see reading. You can break it down.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 51 and 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
That's right. So the nations basically have left their culture and basically they assimilated to America's culture. However, now they understand via prophecy that hey, America's their great whore. You know how America comes in their land and basically they set up these base what you call it, they set up these central banks. They eradicate all their resources. You know what I'm saying? They're not profiting from America, man. You know, and
Mhm.
due to America's rulership throughout all the earth, a look at the state of the earth, man. These other nations they're not happy as well because why the wicked is ruling America, man.
That's right. That's right, bro. Yeah, man. Hey, it's time for this. It's time for judgment to be issued out on the earth, man. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? These lies are gonna be stopped by Yahweh by shot soon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, we're gonna be the so-called white man is gonna be recompensed for his ways, man.
That's
You
right.
know. So hey, that's all I had, bro. Did you have something else?
No, no, Lord willing, it was a edifying lesson,
Gone. I believe it went down. You know what I'm saying?
God,
We went down. So, hey, with that being said, all praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh.
by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Bukakudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders that rule well, and peace and blessing to you, brothers out there that's kicking his words, sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Shalom.